We've come to the end of the dialogue between Vasishta and Rama, and now the dialogue returns to Valmiki and Bharadvaja. The Yoga Vasistha is actually a teaching of the sage Agastya to the sage Sutikshna. And within Agastya's teaching we have this dialogue between Valmiki and Bharadvaja, and within that is the teaching of Valmiki to Bharadvaja of the Yoga Vasistha. Valmiki said to Bharadvaja, "Having heard this quintessence of the highest wisdom, and having been overwhelmed by shakti-pata, Rama remained immersed in the ocean of bliss for a while." Shakti-pata is described in the next chapter as the direct transmission of spiritual energy. One wonders what spiritual energy is. Well, this is Shakti. I think a literal understanding of this is completely outside the message of the Yoga Vasistha. But I think we can see Rama's state as a completely open state. And whatever benefit is to be accrued, he's accruing it. Everything is flowing. Everything is being blown wide open. And Rama is immersed in the ocean of bliss. He had ceased to ask questions, request answers, and endeavour to understand them. He had become established in the highest state of self-knowledge. Bharadvaja asked, "O preceptor, it is indeed a delight to hear that thus Ram attained the supreme state. But how is it possible for us who are foolish and ignorant, and who are of sinful disposition, to attain that state which is difficult even for gods like Brahma to reach?" The exemplars we have in the Yoga Vasistha are largely great sages and kings and queens and gods. And Rama himself is a god. And I think the reason that we're given these examples is that they're like role models. This is what the gods do, so this is what we should be doing as well. We should be following their example. But the opposite side, the flip side to that is, well, yes, it's okay for gods to do that, but how can we mere mortals realize this supreme teaching? So this is the drawback of this way of doing things, this way of promoting the teaching. And Bharadvaja points this out. Is this teaching for mere mortals, or is it for great sages, gods, divine beings, and kings and queens? Valmiki said, "I have narrated to you in full the dialogue between Ram and Vasishta. Consider it well, for that is also my instruction to you." So Valmiki would not have given this teaching if it wasn't appropriate. There is no division in consciousness which can be called the world. Rid yourself of the notion of division by the practice of the secrets revealed to you. In a way, it is a secret. The supreme consciousness is an open secret. A secret is not something which is kept hidden. A secret is something which is continuously overlooked. Both waking and sleeping states are parts of this creation. Enlightenment is characterized by the pure inner light. We're caught up in this cycle. Being awake, being asleep. We can take this literally or symbolically. Enlightenment is characterized by the pure inner light, and this light never dims. It's always there for us to return to. This creation emerges from nothing. It dissolves in nothing. Its very nature is void. It does not exist. On account of beginningless and false self-limitation, this creation appears to exist, creating countless confusions. You are deluded because you do not recollect, repeatedly and frequently, the truth concerning the infinite consciousness, but you partake of the poison of self-limitation and the consequent psychological conditioning. This is an important point. This recollection of the inner light, this self-remembering, needs to be practiced repeatedly and frequently. This truth concerning the infinite consciousness needs to be repeatedly and frequently realized. Otherwise, all we're doing is identifying with our own self-limitations, with our own notions about ourselves, and reinforcing our own psychological and emotional conditioning. This delusion continues till you reach the feet of the enlightened sages and gain the right knowledge from them. This is what helps direct us back to our unconditioned nature. Dear one, that which did not exist in the beginning and will not exist in the end does not exist even now. There's no material world. There's only our ideas, our notions, and our concepts of a physical reality. This world appearance is like a dream. The sole reality in which it appears and disappears is the infinite consciousness. This is consciousness within which notions arise. It's this consciousness which creates these notions and subsequently identifies with them, causing self-limitation. In the ocean of samsara or ignorance, there arises the notion of I, on account of the beginningless potential of self-limitation. In a way, self-limitation is infinite. There's an infinite number of ways we can limit ourselves, or there's an infinite number of ways that consciousness can limit itself. This is what gives rise to the infinite variety of creation. But speaking generically, one of the ways it limits itself, as far as human beings is concerned, is the notion of I. Thereupon, the movement of thought generates other notions like mindness, attraction and repulsion, etc. Once these notions strike root in one's consciousness, one inevitably falls a prey to endless calamities and sorrow. This is when the conditioning hooks us in. It's like a whirlpool. It sucks us in to this tight, limited space, which is very hard to escape from. The closer you get to the centre of that whirlpool, which is the nucleus of the I, the more we're sucked into it. Dive deep into the inner peace, not in the sea of diversity. Who lives? Who is dead? Who has come? Why do you get lost in such false notions? And these are powerful notions, notions of bereavement. When the one self alone is the reality, where is room for another? The theory that Brahman appears as the world, just as rope appears as snake, is meant only for the entertainment of the childish and ignorant. The enlightened ones rest forever in the truth, which does not even appear to be different.